In this section, I'm going to show you how to create the infrastructure required to develop the application. To do that, I'm going to show you the diagram of the infrastructure that we are going to create. Second, I'm going to explain more in depth what is for and why we use Terraform and why Terraform is so popular. Third, I'm going to create the Terraform code more in practical way, and for that I'm going to use the first dev container, and in this container I'm going to use a NeoVim like an IDE to create the code. I'm going to show you how you can integrate some tools from the Terraform ecosystem that you can integrate with the NeoVim IDE. I know you can execute the Terraform formatter from the console, but I'm going to show you how you can integrate the formatter and other tools in the NeoVim IDE. After that, I'm going to create the network module using the VPC module from the Terraform registry, and I'm going to create the EC2 instances required to develop the application in the cloud. And finally, I'm going to test our infrastructure and checking and validating that all the infrastructure that we need to develop the application are correct and is working fine. To create the diagram for the infrastructure, I want to advise it's required to have some basic knowledge about how to work with network in the Amazon Web Service cloud platform. I'm going to use the well architecture framework best practices suggested from the Amazon. You can find more information about this framework in the Amazon Web Services web pages. Okay, I'm going to save the diagram in the repository. I created this repository YouTube. Here I'm going to create the hotel app folder, and inside this folder I'm going to create the backend, frontend, and the infrastructure folder. And here in the infrastructure folder I'm going to save this diagram. First, I'm going to use the VPC. The virtual private network is used to simulate a data center, a virtual data center in the cloud. With that, I'm going to need a boundary. I create this boundary. Let's say this is the boundary for our VPC. Let's move it to the left. Okay, here we go. And inside this VPC, I'm going to create two subnets. The first one could be the private one, the private subnet, and the second one it's the private subnet. Let's name this subnet. The first one could be the public subnet, and the second one is the private subnet. Let's to name private. Okay, here we have all the network required, but we need to create more components. The first component that I'm going to create is the internet gateway. This internet gateway is required to communicate the public subnet with the internet. We are going to need the communication between our instances to internet, because we need to install some package or software, and we need to access to the internet to do that. Let's connect this internet gateway with the internet Okay, okay, let's move or connect the internet gateway with the subnet. Okay, here we go. I can delete the other one. Okay, this is the flow that we are going to use. Here we have the internet gateway, and the internet gateway allow us to connect our public VPC with the internet. So another thing that we need to create is the classless block or CDR block. The CDR block, this is the classless interdomain router that allow us to create or assign different internal IPs to our networks. In this case, I'm going to create the 10.0.0.0 of 616, and this is the CDR that I'm going to create. Another thing that we are going to create is the instances, the EC2 instances. I'm going to create 2 instances. The first one is for in the public subnet. I'm going to create this instance in the public subnet, and the other one in the private subnet. In the private subnet, I'm going to install the Docker and run the database. In this database, in this occasion, I'm going to run the MySQL database, but you can choose whatever you want. And here in these EC2 instances, I'm going to run the Dev-container. Here in this Dev-container, I'm going to use this container to develop the application. In this EC2 instance, I'm going to install the Java or I don't know, Node or Vite to create the application. And here each EC2 instance have assigned, or we need to assign to a security group. Each security group have the rules to access to the EC2 instance and access to the internet. For example, in the public subnet, I'm going to allow the communication for the port 18 and the 8181. In these ports, I'm going to expose the application. In this first port 18, I'm going to expose the front-end application, and the other one I'm going to expose the backend application or the API. Let's change. I'm going to use the port 1881. And here in the second one, in the EC2 instance for the private network, I'm going to use the security group to allow the connection for the SSH connection. And here I'm going to open these 2 ports, but I'm going to allow to connect to the instance through SSH. Okay, and what another thing? Oh, okay, I'm going to need internal NAT gateway. This internal NAT gateway is a gateway that allow us to communicate with the internet, the instances that are created in the private network, because you can see that the internet gateway is assigned to the public subnet, but we don't have a public subnet assigned to the private subnet, and for that reason I'm going to use a NAT gateway, this one, to connect to internet, to internet throughout the public subnet and internet gateway, and the flow should be this instance in the private network communicate to internet throughout this internet gateway assigned to the public subnet. And that is it. This is the infrastructure that we are going to create using Terraform.